I'm Margaret in Windsor. My father's Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Simpson. She married a double, an impostor. There were more than one. And my father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe, Windsor, who was Queen of England, 36, till they took my father down with character assassination. The Illuminati, which is the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, the Kennedy clan, the very fact that President Roosevelt, Franklin Delano, appointed Joe Kennedy, JFK's father, as ambassador to England in 1936 when my father became king. So you begin to wonder about the royal family being knocked off here, because I'm going to get to where I'm going here. And I don't doubt, I know that they were involved in George the Sixth, my father's brother, gladly assumed the crown, which was illegal, put on him by the Illuminati when they took my father down because he would not take orders from them. You have to wonder about the whole timing. Roosevelt puts Joe Kennedy in as ambassador to take out my father in 36. Of course, maybe that could have been a rush decision in 36. I don't know. Because, my grandfather, George V, died. My father assumed the crown. And then they took him down. And therein, Elizabeth is a traitor. She works for the Illuminati. I'm not going. She knows all about me. She knows about Wallace marrying a double. They're buried at Frogmore, Windsor, right there with the rest of the royal family. What an oddity. American Spy, Wallace Simpson, and a double, posing as my father, Edward VIII, and saying he abdicated to marry this. My father was married to my mom, a school teacher, sister to artist Georgia O'Keeffe, a nice family, the O'Keeffes. They were married and alive October the 20th of 86 when I came to Roanoke. They were quite elderly then. And I'm going to leave it there because when they took my father down, it made way for the global government to be, the Illuminati. The United Nations is just that. They're your global government. That's in the prophecies and all that, revelations. And chipping that I was telling about, putting chips in people and programming them, is in, and putting seals on it. They put seals on the root canals. I don't know, seals. They put a seal on the lies they told about my father. And law enforcement gave me copies that he got. I've put them up. That there was a seal put on them, 100-year seal. It was lies, making my father be the most horrible person in the world. Instead, he's one of the most beautiful, honest men in the world, and my mom, and look what's been done to them and to me. And I am the legal heir. He made legal papers. He never meant to leave. Anyway, because of all this and the takedown of my father and the collusion between Eisenhower, Truman, Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, Cosmos Lang, who was Archbishop of Canterbury. And then I was brought here, so look at what's happened to me here and all the things connected, what's happened to the UK, to Britain. The whole thing was to take down the British Empire. Now I want to get to this, because I didn't just start telling this, if this video is allowed to go up, by the way. Oh, they're telling here about HLN. That's CNN, and prior to it being CNN, it was Turner Broadcasting. Ted Turner married Jane Fonda. I thought Jane Fonda had to know all about this. I don't know. She seemed to be an honest person, and I thought they would tell it. My husband and I went down there. I'd written the book about mind control, trying to get it published, trying to rewrite it, get it published, turning it over to Atlanta Journal, who later I found out was Hearst Broadcasting, the Patty Hearst kidnapping. And there was FBI that were on my side. They sent me a letter, June the 23rd of 79, ongoing investigation, national security involved. I thought it was because of the book. Fast forward, they tried to kill me again. Not the feds that I know of. It wasn't the FBI. It was the people I'm talking about. You're in government. My point here, and I'm going to get off, is really about this. I've put all this up over and over through the years. CNN is now suddenly, well, I don't know, suddenly, they're telling about the century's most horrific crimes. They're listing the ones that I told step by step were done by mind control and in patterns. The David Koresh, Waco, you have to, there's a couple of these that I'm not going to tell what they'd done to me at the time. Well, heck, they put me in jail right down here in Roanoke. Come out there. I had no place to go. I'm on the street all this time, except when I could get a couple of live-ins. I'd been out at Mr. Flint's because he had been shot by a program shooter. In the KL, carrying one of the doctors, Larry McDonald, aboard it, supposedly. He was a congressman, physician from Atlanta. And you get into what happened, the murders that happened at the hospital. You get into Center for Disease Control. And I'm sure they're going to take me off this time, I guess. I'm lucky if I get it up. But I swear, I hope it's about almost going to be told the truth. Oh, now if I'm babbling, I'm going to go just back to this. I've sat here and watched it tonight, and they're telling about John Hinckley right at the moment. They have told about David Koresh. David Koresh was writing something, that's the Waco and the burning and all this. It's where I was at about that time. And I'm not going to date myself because I know what happened. I hope this is going to be told and I'm alive and my children are alive and well. The Ramsey, that came into play, the Ramseys. And by the way, I've been to the attorney, Lynn Wood, and I've told all this. He came up here and came part way when I was living on the trail, because I had been down there to his office several times. And he waved at me. And I know how people want to make this out to be lies. Dennis O'Leary, spokesman for George Washington. I'm looking at when Reagan was shot, I guess. Wow, I just said something about O'Leary. Not the same O'Leary. Wow. Whoa. Anyway, now I'm looking at this and I got to get up because maybe this one will get up. I do want to put this up though. The ones they're putting up are Dave. Let me go back to Waco. That's where Madeline Murray O'Hare was, and she was talking about religion, and she didn't believe in God and all this. And later, and by the way, she was out at Flint's at one point, talking to him, and I think she stayed in his home. And Jimmy Carter's sister, what was her last name? God, I can't remember now, but she died. Well, anyway, she was out there. I can't remember. It was his sister. God, I don't know her name. Anyway, I was told she was the end to Jimmy Carter. No. Anyway, let me just get on here. In the Waco, Koresh was writing about something about the end times. And then you should see what happened, but it's where I was about this time. They had me. And during the Ramsey at one point. And anyway, let me get with this. I got the letter from the FBI, June 23rd, 79. April Fool Day of 80, I'm almost killed. I should have died. I mean, there's no way I should have lived. It was hell. and didn't know what was happening to my children, if they would live or die. I'm transported by Lionel Dempsey, mother of the twins, where they put me, and JFK helped in it. He would fly into the embassy, and that's why they put Roosevelt, who's Jewish, made JFK's father ambassador there to take down my dad. And then when I was born, surprise, surprise, they had to deal with me, so they kidnapped me. So where am I going here? I'm trying to keep it. I'm not scripted that I know of. I don't have one in front of me by memory, thank God, because I should, Anyway, I'm flown out to Mr. Flint's then. I'd never met him, but these were done in patterns, and I knew it was a program shooter that shot him in Lawrenceville, Georgia. He flew me out there during the campaign to replace Congressman Dr. Larry McDonald, who was a part of my book and part of Mr. Flint did an endorsement of me in April of 84, Hustler. And he says there, and I usually put this up, although it's gotten old and ragged now, I should do something about that. I've been kept penniless, and I can't walk anymore and put a backpack on. So anyway, let me just cut to the chase here. They're putting all these up. And I guess the one I want to zero in here is the Hinckley. I'm up there with no money. After all they've done to me, my God in heaven, and to my children, I'm up there literally on the street with my book, letter from the FBI, letters of rejection for my book. So I wrote the book, and then it went before Revell, which is a religious publishing, but then it went before the board, but they didn't take it. Okay. I'm trying to get this up. I may not get it up. But all these that are on here are the ones I've been talking about, that were, people were chipped. The chip mind control was used in it. And Koresh was writing about something about end times. I can't remember what they were telling. And Madeline O'Hara was murdered. Her and her whole family were taken out and murdered. This is much later. Okay, now then, I want to get to this point, though. I went up there telling about, and they just had it up about, oh God, don't let the name slip me. Well, he shot Reagan. He was programmed. Hinckley Jr. All I'm going to say here is, and get off up here. It's too much. I wish I had something good to eat tonight, to tell you the truth. Maybe I can get something tomorrow. I'm sitting here, and anyway, I'm watching the Hinckley. That's what's on now. They talk about the bomber. I'm trying to tell this and get it up before it goes off. All these that they have told, the century's worst crimes, are the ones I told about were done in patterns. So I'm up there, and Hinckley, I was up there, I believe, when he let me cut to the chase and just say this. I went up there more than once trying to get something done, penniless. Oh, it's horrifying. Okay. Hinckley's father, John Hinckley's father, and mother had just had dinner with either George Bush Sr. or the son that became president. Now, you time it. This is in the 1980, early 82. I went back up there in October of 82 when all this happened, and I took the book to Reagan. I put this up over and over, so everything I've said at this point has probably been put up before. So I wonder about YouTube and the sudden taking down one of my videos, But anyway, Hinckley, I'm trying to tell him he has a chip in him, and his father and mother are from Evergreen, Colorado, outside Denver. They're friends of the Bushes, just had dinner with them. Now, they got their son goes out and shoots Reagan. And I don't know the rest of it. They were just telling it who all was shot. Now, he's been in St. Elizabeth's for being crazy, a mental ward, which he was programmed, just like James Holmes. And I've made this over and over. They're treating all this, it's a war game. They can program masses, have been for a long time. So if I'm rambling, I'm going to get off here, because I hope and pray this is totally showing Jodie Foster, and supposedly she played, well, she did play in Taxi, but supposedly Hinckley went out and shot Reagan because of something about Jodie Foster. Oh, so that was supposed to be his motive. The motive is with the programmers. So I go back in the shape I'm in and have gone through, take the book, letter from the FBI. I still had it then. I didn't keep it for long after then. Reagan's White House. I took it to the executive mailroom. Out comes his adopted son. That he's host on programs on radio. I can't remember his name. He had the lapel, the ID and everything. I signed in at that big, huge book that you have to sign in to leave stuff. Clearly a letter from the FBI, clearly where I'd done the book. You open it up, they have a copy of the book. It's there, along with other documents. I had 2 letters from the FBI, by the way. I wonder what consequence they suffered for helping. So now then, I'm footing it back to Atlanta because I have nowhere to go. They've kept me here, there, everywhere. You talk about, I'm not going to go into what all was done to me. I mean, I've done that. Let me just get off of here. I'm wearing flip-flops, and they're cut. One of them is cut to where it's flipping off my shoe. I'm on the side of the road carrying my stuff. Somebody there told me, just before I left, you better put that in a safety deposit box or they're going to take it. And I thought, I don't even have money for a safety deposit box up here. The one in Atlanta was taken that I had. That was later, I guess it was taken in 85. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you what all happened on me in Martinez, which is the name of the town, which 2 nice Irishmen shoved me out in the condition I'm in and told me they were from Ireland. And then the following, they gave me a lift. I'm out on the side of the road trying to get a ride, hoping I don't get raped or killed. And they put me out in Martinez. Now, remember, I told you about the Jennifer Martinez, the mayor of Tampa. I hope I get this up and it stays. So I later go down there. Now, is that the way that went? 82? This is Martinez. So how do I know about the Martinez? I'm trying to keep my timeline straight. I was down there November the 16th of 82, that winter. So this is the Martinez being dropped off there happened prior to going to Tampa. The mayor was Martinez and his daughter was kidnapped. When I went through there November the 16th, then I came back and stayed there and worked at Tampa Hilton for a while. Okay, I'm trying to keep it straight here. It's what happened to me when they put me out on the side of the road at Martinez, just before you go into Georgia, I believe, or as you go into Georgia. And I was stripped of everything, and that's not all that happened to me. It was awful. And it continued to be awful. My book, everything taken off of me, everything. I think Jack Hartsfield, the reporter FBI agent, somebody found my address after it was put in the garbage can where this person put it, that took it and did all this to me. And I'm going to leave it there. The